Good evening, Europe. This is a moment where we feel that we are in Europe. Portugal, Portuguese presidents of European Community, it was now, and after will be Slovenia. So I'm so pleased here and so happy here to do this webinar with this connection with Slovenia. But we are all here Europeans, and is all about Europe and the medicine in Europe that we are talking about. I'm very pleased here to have the Portuguese Society of Occupational Medicine to organize this webinar about the UEMS, about the UEMS assessment, and our goal is to motivate the Portuguese, all Europe countries, and all the candidates for the Europe to this assessment, the exam, to know more about this exam and to participate more in the events of the UEMS. I have a big pleasure to have here the president of the UEMS section of Occupational Medicine, Prof.ª Alenka Škerjanc, and the Secretary General of UEMS, Dr. João Grenho, that is a general surgeon and is also this important mission in UEMS. Thank you very much to accept this invitation, and we will talk first about the UEMS, and after the assessment, the occupational medicine exam, and then I present some initiative and that Portuguese society have for all, and we invite, and some questions and discussion we can do in the end. Okay, so I ask to Dr. João Grenho to present his presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jorge Barroso Dias. It is a pleasure to be here, and it is a pleasure to share this webinar with you and also with the president of the Occupational Medicine section of UEMS, Prof.ª Alenka Škerjanc. Thank you very much for having me, and I'm very pleased and very grateful to the Portuguese Society of Occupational Medicine for this invitation. So without further delays and trying not to be very boring with this presentation, I will try to explain why do we say that the UEMS assessments are a door to Europe. First of all, and making a little conflict of interest declaration, I'm a general surgeon. I work in Loures in Portugal, in Hospital Beatriz Ângelo, and I'm also the UEMS Secretary General since 2020. I was in the previous mandate UEMS Vice President. Because I am the UEMS Secretary General, I am also the head of the European Accreditation Council for Continuing Medical Education, which is the biggest and most important entity for the accreditation of scientific events, be it live or e-learning as it is. So let's talk a little bit about UEMS. We all know and we all hope that our European values are, and Europe is built on the values of freedom, democracy, and humanism. And great men have been responsible for the creation of what we know today to be the European Union. One of them, Robert Schuman, said that Europe will not be built in one day or in one way, which means that there are a lot of ways to get to a point, and of course it will take always some time. And also Jean Monnet also said that nothing is possible without people, but nothing is lasting without institutions. And this is something in which, for which we believe in UEMS. As you know, without institutions, without people, we know what Europe was like before, and these images are a gruesome reminder of the Europe without institutions and with people not taking into account the collective interest of European people. And after this terrible war ended in the late 1950s and in the early 1960s, and still under the let's call it the smell of freedom that came with the end of the war, we saw the birth of the European medical organizations. And of course, the idea was to translate our ideals of European collaboration and integration into the medical profession. So on July 20 of 1958, the UEMS was founded on Brussels. So I like to say that the UEMS is a 63 years young institution, is composed of the members that compose it are the national medical associations of 28 EU member states and 3 European Economic Area countries. We have also 4 associate members, which are Armenia, Israel, Serbia, and Turkey, and we have 5 observers, Georgia, Lebanon, Morocco, Iraq, and Tunisia. We have, and UEMS has almost 60 specialist bodies, so it is a very big organization, and as such represents roughly 1,600,000 medical specialists, medical professionals across Europe. The objectives are very easy to understand. We aim to promote free movement of healthcare professionals, and to do that, we think that the harmonization of the highest level of training and medical care is fundamental. And we envision to set standards in the field of postgraduate specialist medical training, also in the continuing medical education and professional development, and also, of course, always taking into account quality assurance in specialist medical practices. And to do this, and coming to the to the assessments, I will take you into what is necessary to make an assessment and to have an assessment. And the first thing that we have to understand is that there will be no assessments, or I will rephrase. It's difficult to have an assessment without having an ETR. What is an ETR? An ETR is a European training requirement, which is the fundamental competence that medical specialists across Europe find that a given specialty or a given specialist must have to be recognized as a specialist all across Europe. So we have the UEMS sections, the boards, divisions, and the MJCs develop European standards in medical training, and we aim to, what we aim to do is reflect medical practice and, of course, the current scientific findings. Of course, we are very aware that the definition of postgraduate training contents is a national authority's competence, is not a competence of the UEMS. What the ETR aims is to complement this training of the national authorities, and to ensure that high quality training is provided across Europe. So because we are in a new world and we have new realities, we have free movement of healthcare professionals, we have also free movement of patients, we have healthcare systems across Europe that are interdependent, and we have to take into account that in many countries, both the assessment and the education either do not exist or they are not well developed. And so this is something that we take into account when developing our ETRs and our assessments. So the ETRs involve, of course, the relevant UEMS section and generally also the national scientific societies represented in the section. We take into account the opinions and the views of the relevant European scientific societies, and also we aim to do as broad consultation as possible at a national and a European level, and for this we take the views of colleagues from universities, from colleges, from other professional organizations. And then we have a wide, in-depth discussion regarding both training requirements, standards of clinical care, accreditation of trainers, and of course the appraisal and accreditation of training centers. We take into account also the content and the format of the assessment. We take into account the existing experience across Europe and beyond. We make as broad consultation as possible with other already established European boards, and we are always open to innovative ideas. We have set up preparatory courses, and we make sure that the assessments are affordable and that they don't have a fixed failure rate. So what we aim with both the ETRs and the assessments is to have a consensus of all parties involved. And of course, it is not that we want to achieve the lowest common denominator, but we aim to achieve the highest commonly agreed standards for medical education and the assessments. Of course, we have to take into account that medicine is always in motion. And like I say here, it's a mix between art and science and is always evolving. So there's a very big need for regular knowledge and skill renewal. We have to have notions of continuing professional development. We have to have notions of competence-based training. And of course, we have to take into account that we have directives that somehow guide our recognition and the assessments. And for this, we have the directives on the recognition of professional qualifications and also the directive on the patient's right in cross-border healthcare. And so, of course, we need that across Europe, people trust the competences of European doctors, because this is an issue of both patient safety and quality of care. And as such, we believe that competence-based training involves three fundamental issues on it. One is the knowledge, of course, and the knowledge but the knowledge in itself means nothing unless you also have the opportunity to train the skills, and you also have the opportunity to train and to adopt the correct attitudes. And the conjunction of these three characteristics, both knowledge, skills, and attitude, is then what we can define as competence. And so, of course, this is not new to anyone. The educational process is a never-ending process. You can start wherever you want, but generally you have an objective. You define what are the means that you need to be able to reach that objective, and then you have to assess to see if the objective was reached with the means that were available. And if it was, or if it wasn't, new objectives are designed, and this is a never-ending continuum across and along the professional life of a medical doctor, we hope. And of course, we have 28 plus 4, it's 32, almost 40 members in the UEMS. And we have to take into account that diversity is one of the strengths of the organization. But again, we have to think of finding common grounds to unite that diversity. So, for instance, 1 meter is an evolving notion. I think that most of you know that the 1 meter as we know it was currently defined through the reference to speed of light in a vacuum, and this was done in 1983. Of course, we cannot measure 1 meter in our day-to-day life using this reference, so we have a lot of different tools, but all of them are makes it possible for us to measure whatever we need. So when we talk about knowledge, what we think and the way that we try to think of the assessments is that knowledge can be evaluated by a structured curriculum, which of course includes the building blocks of all theoretical knowledge, be it anatomy, physiology, pathology, etc. And also that trainees can gain and demonstrate knowledge through regular formative and summative assessments. And we have the tools to measure the knowledge. We can either make curriculum assessments, educational contents, MCQs, so multiple content questions, and these are ways in which we are able to measure knowledge. And also, we can measure skills in the assessments. We have a structure, we all make structured approaches to become proficient in one of the areas of our medical training. And we focus at the time on technical and non-technical skills. And of course, we have to have instructions for real-life training and assessments. And we have to take into account also that new technologies might bring new ways of assessment, and simulation will and may and will provide risk-free training and objective assessments. And we have to look at the future and take into account that simulation will be more and more perfect as the technology moves on. So again, we can have measure these outcomes with assessments, simulations, curriculum planners, e-logbooks, and so on. And of course, again, it comes to the attitudes and to let's call it professionalism. So decision-making, communication, and leadership are core competences for medical specialists, and it is an obligation of all medical specialists, of all medical professionals, let's say it, to be always striving to be aiming to continue their medical education and also their professional developments. And so CME and CPD are generally accepted as performance metrics for professionalism. So we have tools also to measure this quality, sorry, not qualities, but this skills, and we can think of the log of CME CPD points, which enters in the realm of VAC CME, or assessment using multi-source feedback like we have in the United Kingdom with the 360 appraisal. We have scenario-based simulation training, and of course, a general assessment. And so what I aim, and trying not to exceed my time, what I try to show you is that the UEMS assessments, and specifically the occupational medicine assessment, is not so much a simple issue in which we just find some questions to ask and we say, okay, you are a fellow of occupational medicine and you are able to work across Europe as an occupational medicine specialist. No, there are a lot of steps. We have, of course, the postgraduate training, which is a responsibility of the national authorities. authority, but we also have a concurrent way of UEMS specialist sections and European boards. And along the way, we have colleagues, more experienced colleagues, who are always available by the UEMS to make the assessment of competences, be it knowledge, skills, and professionalism. And this is the railroad that will open all the doors for you as specialists in Europe. And so I finish with the title of my presentation, because this is what I tried to show you, is that the UEMS assessments and the UEMS ETRs are very powerful tools, and of course are recognized as a door opener to all Europe. So I thank you very much for your attention, again for the invitation, and I will be very glad to answer any questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. João Grenho. It was a marvelous presentation that gave us the opportunity to know more about the UEMS, and also, to this last slide, to the occupational medicine exam that I should say that I know that is a very difficult task to organize. So I'm asking to the person that was the soul of all this organization, Professor Alenka Škerjanc, to tell us about the organization of this assessment, and then we will know more about this second one. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. It is really a pleasure to stay in Lisbon for the third time, even if it is, let's say, long distance this time, but nevertheless, it's really nice to stay here. And I would like to greet Secretary General of UEMS and all the Portuguese participants of this meeting, and also all European countries' colleagues that are staying with us in, let's say, in Lisbon this evening. It was a very nice introduction by the Secretary General of UEMS, so now I can continue with the practical issues of the assessment of occupational medicine. We started to swim last year in January, just before the COVID pandemics, and we were really lucky that we succeeded to choose the last minute to start our mission. This year, it's going to be the second time, planned to 30th of August, and this on the seat of UEMS in Brussels. It's very easy to find this building. It's very much in the center of Brussels. It is very nice equipped, very comfortable, and also the people staying there are very nice and always ready to help. So as Dr. João Miguel Grenho told us, European exam should never be obligation, but the proof of excellence. So it is not, I liked his sentence very much, it is not the lowest common denominator, but it is the highest common standard that should and can be achieved in all European countries, not only in European member states. So this is the entrance to the place where the exam is taken place in the 5th floor in Domus Medica Europea in Brussels. Oops, sorry. European training requirements for the specialty of occupational medicine were discussed many times, twice in Lisbon, on the website, anywhere. So I am sure that all of you who are ready to participate or who are thinking about participating to the exam have taken a look at. So I will just quickly pass 10 most important topics, and these are the items that make specialty in occupational medicine so special and very much different from all other clinical and preventive medical specialties. There are 10 frames, very important. Framework for practice, how we provide clinical practice, how we assess fitness for work, help in rehabilitation and disability assessment. And then the most important part of occupational medicine, in fact, is hazard recognition, evaluation, and risk control. Any other specialty discuss and give suggestions upon this topic. Then there is business continuity, disaster preparedness, emergency management, service delivery and quality improvement, leadership, policy development, professionalism, as much important and probably even more as in clinical specialties, because we are on free market and it is very easy to abuse or misuse the specialty of occupational medicine. Epidemiology and preventive health is in fact basis for scientific work in occupational medicine, research methods, and effective teaching and educational supervision, not only of students, trainees, but also of our clients who might be healthy or ill because of their conditions at work. Now let's go to the exam, how it is structured. This is, I think, the most important thing, or the table you are mostly interested in. MCQs, these are multiple choice questions. In occupational medicine, there are questions with 4 possibilities, and only one is correct. And there are no negative credits or negative points. So you can breathe a little easier taking into account this good reality. And there are 3 types of question for each topic. Easy, their credit is 1, moderate, their credit is 2, and difficult, their credit is 3. As you see at the bottom, there are 50, let's say, easy questions to relax at the beginning, at the end, and in the middle. There are moderate questions, 50, and 30 difficult questions. And the number of all questions is 130, and the amount of credit is 240. So it means that there is less than 1/3 of difficult questions, but they bring much more than 1/3 of credits in the common sum of the questions. But don't be afraid of the questions, because they are not so special that you could be afraid that you never heard about them. It is something that is very familiar and domestic in all European member countries. So all of us who were preparing the questions and assessed them were sure, or we had to make them so that the answers are clearly the same in all European member states and all European countries. I cannot say it is the basic knowledge only evaluated. There are also, as Secretary General said, higher standard, but the answer is only one and the same in all European countries. And if you take a look on the topic where there are the number of scores is maximum, it is topic 4. What I said, it is very special for the specialty of occupational medicine. It is hazard recognition, evaluation, and the control of risk. Because in fact, basically, we are a preventive specialty and we have to take into account to skip or to get rid of hazards and risks and make our working places safe and healthy. You don't need to write down these numbers of questions and percentages. I am going to send this presentation to the organizer and you are going to get it so that you can count what you should study more or better or where you are missing something to get more and better credits. These are the papers. At the exam, you get the pool of questions, and then you get a net where you put and mark the correct question. You don't make a circle around the possibilities, but you write the item that you think to be correct to the special net that is given to the participants. There is 2.5 hours time. And last year, some participants argued that they didn't have enough time. But we have to take into account that the first one who left the papers to the commission put it after 2 hours, so there were still 30 minutes left. And that one who gave the results, the first one, the person passed the exam. So there is a fifth of total time still left, and the participants of the exams are not just anybody. These are you who are sure in your knowledge and skills and competencies, and you who have a courage to prove your knowledge in English language and to be compared to the participants with other European countries, and also to make or create a net of specialists who passed the same trial or training or whatever say, and to remain the colleagues on and collaborate through all your professional life career. This is one of the most important aims of having European assessment in occupational medicine as well. After finishing the exam, of course, it is not only the participants who are very happy, also us who organize the exam. We do have finally can have a feeling to lose a stone from our heart to pass all the procedure. There is appraisal application on our website. You see that you may put your application to very late time, only 1 week before the assessment. Usually it was 1 or 2 months before the assessment, but because of COVID situation, we would like to be sure that you don't lose or spend your money before you are sure that it is possible to fly, to come to Belgium, to Brussels, and to participate the exam. The amount to pay is 700 euros. It is, the Secretary General could comment, it is somewhere in the middle, because the section is small, the number of the participants is not so big as ophthalmology or surgery or whatever, but the expenses to pay the facilities and other costs are almost the same as for bigger specialties. So for the end, I hope you are not lost in the space. Just collect your courage. Be sure that you were trained very well, not only in Portugal, not only in any other European member countries, because I am sure that all of us who decided to study or to train occupational medicine, we are really ready to put our life and career to make the life of all employed people better and worth of living. Thank you very much and welcome for your question, either now, either to send them on the mail. You know very well that we are quite fast in sending the answers to any of your questions. So welcome in Brussels and have a lot of courage.
Thank you very much, Professor Alenka Škerjanc. I hope everybody is very motivated to this exam, and this presentation that I thank you both so much is helping all of the participants to know more about the exam, and of course those that are the candidates needs to know these very, very important informations to be more prepared. For me, myself, and for the members of the Portuguese Society, is very motivating to help as much as possible, not only the Portuguese candidates, but this is for all European candidates that now are with us. We have people from all Europe. For this motivation, our motivation is to help, and also is not only a motivation, is an obligation. We should help the scientific societies, and the schools should help as much as possible to do this way, to the candidates could do this way. So I want to share a little bit of this motivation that we have, and just take some minutes to talk about this history, this story of motivation we have. So my small presentation, just to talk about the Portuguese Society collaboration with UEMS. Our history, just to say that we have born in the 30th of November 1966, so now we are a very young society, 55 years. This was the first logo and our actual logo. And our information is in Portuguese and also in English, but almost all browsers nowadays made the translation so easily. Our meetings, society meetings, we intend to do a continuous training with occupational medicine to physicians and other professionals in occupational health, and we assume this goal with these objectives, and we do our best to do this obligation, I say. The three main regular and biggest events, we have others, is the National Forum of Occupational Medicine, that we have it from 1991. And now we have 2 editions already of the Lisbon International Forum of Occupational Health. It is in the same period, in the same days. We hope the next one will be in 2022, sorry. And also we have a meeting very regular, 2 in 2 years, of the occupational medicine, occupational health in hospitals. We have other meetings and other trainings, and this is like the album, family album of the Lisbon International Forum. And in 2017, we can see here already the first representation of UEMS with Professor Alenka Škerjanc, the Jukatakala, and ILO representatives also, and the last one in 2019 that we have the second forum, Lisbon International Forum. And why I told you about this, in the program we had the global perspective, the practice in Europe, and I asked especially because I wanted so much that we talk about the UEMS perspective, but also if it's possible to talk about the first European Occupational Medicine appraisal. And well, it was possible to talk about it. And in fact, we could succeed motivating some people, some young trainees that were there to do the exam. And in fact, we had succeed. Tiago Oliveira was succeeding in the exam. Well, also to say that we have connections. We are members of ICOH, EOMSC, the America is an organization, international organization, very connected with ACOM, the American. Also in Portugal, also the Federation of Medical Societies. And in fact, some more information about other societies that we are connected. We do our best to do a network and try our best to make connection between occupational health and the other societies. And all my presentation is just for this slide. That is an invitation to all of us to save the date to a candidates meeting in 22 of June at 8 o'clock in Portugal and 9 o'clock in Central Europe time. And the idea, this invitation, is to is a way that we have that make the possibility of the candidates talk each other, ask each other what problems they have and what solutions they find, and to share information. And also, again, the very important word, motivation, to make motivated themselves and help them each other. And we are here, the Portuguese society and the other societies, to help them and to help all they need and we can do. So please, if you are interested, then you can contact us with our email, but we will do some more information. We'll give some more information on our website and Facebook and how that will be and ways to make the application. It will be free, of course, but more discussion about and to make network. And so save the date. Thank you very much. And this is our invitation. So, well, motivation, and I think all the big goals of these webinars we could get it, we could arrive them. I don't know if there is any question or if the speakers want to do any more information. I have one question about the bibliography, about because the people, the candidates ask me where is the better way to go to get information. And maybe the other bibliographies in other countries are more connected than our bibliography. The training are different. For this reason, I think it's very important to motivate them to help each other. Can we say something to them?
Yeah, thank you for this question. It is very necessary, not so urgent. We put some literature, let's say a bit more special on the web, but otherwise all the literature available in any European countries is proper to pass the exam. About the hazard, we checked the questions and we checked the answers, and all the teachers from all European countries are sure that we are training our trainees the way they should put the correct answer when they are asked on MCQ. So nothing special except that what you are learned and taught and given literature, it doesn't matter English, German, Czech, Polish, Russian, Slovenian, Portuguese, Spanish, Italian, whatever, because science is only one. Only the languages are different, but the solution, and we are, all the European member states are in contact, in fact, with current time. Any one of us is living in the past. There is not only books and professors, but there is web, and especially now in COVID times, all the trainees were almost put down and sit by the web and following the mostly literature in English.
Thank you very much. Indeed, the science is the same. But I want to have another question to both of you, maybe. How far have we go in the harmonization, in the trainings, in the schools, in the medical schools? How far how the UEMS could help to develop more training, more harmonized in the schools? Any of you, maybe Dr. João Miguel Grenho, could talk something about how far we go in this. But in fact, there is very different trainings in the different specialties now.
Yes, and I might try to answer in a more general way, and maybe then Professor Alenka may comment on the occupational medicine overview on Europe. The question here is also always, as you know, subsidiarity, which is a very, very good word for some of our European counterparts, which think that health should be out of a common European view, be it on medical education, be it on healthcare delivery. And so, yeah, indeed, we have very, very different trainings across Europe. We have very, very different postgraduate trainings across Europe with a different number of years, with different curricula. I can give you an example from my specialty. As you know, I'm a general surgeon, and for instance, a general surgeon in the UK, which I know now is not on the European Union, but it was until recently. And the general surgeon on the UK, for a general surgeon on the UK, endoscopy and colonoscopy are requirements, and you must be able to perform those techniques to be a general surgeon. Well, in Portugal, it isn't. I think that maybe older surgeons are able to do something like a sigmoidoscopy, but not much more than that. And of course, the new generations, myself included, I'm in the middle between the older and the newer. Those were not requirements from our training. So This is very important, and this is a key issue of this discussion, which is this is the way in which we try, and the ETRs and the assessments are the way in which we try to harmonize all these different views across Europe of medical specialties. I don't think UEMS has the possibility to somehow influence medical education on colleges and on medical schools. What we can do is to say that if you want to be a medical specialist of this area recognized across Europe, then you will have to have a minimum of this and this and this and that requirement. And if you have them, then you're recognized as a surgeon, an occupational physician, an internist in both Luxembourg, in the Czech Republic, or in Portugal, or in Slovenia. So this is what I see as the way forward for the UEMS, since our ability to interfere, and sorry for the use of the word, but our ability to interfere in the medical education in itself before the postgraduate training is very, very limited. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would add from a broader perspective. Education, not only medical education, is supposed to be a part of culture. And all European member countries and all nationalities do have educational system so that they keep on going their culture, what is very positive, in fact. But on the other hand, it is very difficult to step a little bit down and admit that it is perhaps not the best, that we should take into account also other perspectives. So from occupational medicine, and I think also from other medical specialties, the ETRs are the ones who should be incorporated in the national curricula. So in my country is, I don't know, since 2 years, Slovenian Medical Chambers is taking care so that European training requirements for all medical specialties who have got, we all know that all are not so rich as, let's say, occupational medicine. We are very happy that we succeeded to have them, but they are incorporated in our national curriculum. It is not only this, we also have special things from other occupational medicine, culture and history, but this what should be, let's say, the highest common standard in Europe has been already incorporated in our national curriculum in occupational medicine. This should be the way, but also exam, not obligation, but help and achievement to the goal that we all together should reach, that we are able to communicate better and to trust each other much more as we have been up to now.
Well, I must confess that in several times we had talked, and I admire so much your motivation with your students, the people that you are training. And you sometimes are talking about them as the people that you care of to give them the knowledge enough. And so with these words of motivation to care of, to motivate the new generations, I think we could finish this webinar. And the invitation is done to the save date, the 22 of June. It will be just a meeting of candidates, and we will help in some helping just the meeting. But in fact, is a way that the Portuguese society could give in this short time, that is until the assessment, to make connections and make these this effort to motivate the people to be brave and go and to make their application. I thank you so much, the both of the wonderful speakers I have, and the big honor I had and the Portuguese Society to have here the both of you, the Secretary General of the UEMS and the President herself of the occupational medicine section in the UEMS. And thank you so much for the questions, for the information that they give us. We have a question here for. We have a different question. How foreign doctors can do this exam? For example, Brazilians of Angolans. As I told you, we have connected with some other countries and some other continents, and also with the Portuguese spoken countries like Brazil and Angolans. We have big connections, and we try, and I think we could help them also in occupational medicine developments. So the question is, the Brazilian or Angolans can do the exam?
Yeah. Thank you very much for this question. We have focused so much on Europe, but in fact, European exams are in fact that can be confirmed by Secretary General to the whole world, because this is the proof of excellence. It is not automatically replacement of the national exam in any specialty. It depends on the country how it take it. For instance, to pass European exam in occupational medicine in Slovenia means that you pass the theoretical part of the exam. You have to make an expertise on occupational medicine still in Slovenia, and a kind of specialist work, a little book or a little scientific work, but not theoretical part. So the trainees are very fond of that, to get the knowledge and present the knowledge from the European perspective. But as I said, it is in any European country automatically taken as pass the national exam. Maybe it can help, because with passing this exam, you prove the certain level of knowledge and the certain level of English language. What is also important, because occupational medicine is on the market. And if in any European country you have a specialist in occupational medicine passing European exam, it is a strong added value for those who are buying occupational medicine on the market.
Wonderful. The other questions and all the things that everybody could want to ask more, as was promised, you can send us the information, and all the candidates and all the persons that, even not being already candidates but are thinking about that, are invited to come to the 22 of June, 8 o'clock in the night in Portuguese hour, and so invitation is done. Again, with the motivation to all of us, I want to thank again the speakers. Thank you so much for your time and for your knowledge and for your patience to share here with all of us. Thank you very much, and good night, Europe.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye, and good luck, and stay healthy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much also, and good luck to all the candidates, of course.
Good luck.